People, deluded, I'm back again. Sporting nil, Arsenal 1, Arsenal 1, Sporting Lisbon nil. So yeah, while I do feel an air of complacency is creeping into our game and we need to eradicate that complacency quickly. Complacency will be our death. Yeah, I can't complain. 3 wins from 3 in the Europa League, 11 wins on the trot, handling business. And while we might be a second half team, we might need to start off first half a bit better. And while I don't feel we played terrible today, we could have played much better. I can't complain. Like I said, 11 wins from 11. That's our best form in 11 years. Just the other week, we had our best Premier League form in the last 5 years or whenever the stats were I said at the time. So yeah, we just knew we needed to take care of business. What's the stat I'm looking for? We failed to win in Portugal in 6 or 7 times as well, and to do that today, I mean, anything Unai Emery is touching right now in regards to Arsenal is turning to magic. But yeah, Sporting Lisbon, it was clearly seen as the game where this is the group decider, and we took care of business. So we might as well review the player ratings. Like I said, I don't feel anyone played terrible, but by the same logic, the cynical man in me, the one that looks for better, the one that wants to hold us to high standards, I don't really feel anyone played amazing today. No one played poor, but we could, by the same logic they did, we could have been punished by bigger teams, especially in the first half. And while it's great that we're winning, it doesn't matter how you win these games, just that we're winning. By the same token, winning is papering over the cracks. What happens when we stop winning? Are we going to look at this seriously? But we did what we needed to do. I felt the players are feeling themselves a bit too much in terms of winning these games. And rightly or wrongly, they knew they didn't have to be at 100% or play to their maximum to win today. So credit to the lads, man. They got out of the way. But I'm starting off with Leno. I give him a 5. Again, not to go OTT, because Lisbon, they did all right today, especially in the first half, but they didn't take their chances and he didn't have much to do, so a 5. I must admit, Socrates, I've got his name circled, like my handwriting's poor, forgive me people, but quick thing, you see some circles, there's on a couple players, purely because, do I go with what I give them for different reasons, or do I be a bit objective and not look at my reasons? Socrates, if it's my personal opinion, people, do you know I'm going with my team? I'm giving him a 4. If I look at it objectively, it's a 5. I give him a 4 purely because second half he patterned up and stuff like that. But Socrates has been in good form, especially he's had a little injury, so I allow him, but he's been in good form, and I wasn't seeing them high standards. You weren't tested too much today, but by the same logic, Bakuna was doing the madness. In particular, the ball playing. We all saw the mistake. I'm not saying he made this mistake so he played rubbish, but you saw him misjudge a header like Mustafi, probably been hanging around with him too much, and it could on another day. These things can really come back to haunt us. Like I said, I don't feel man played poor, but I'm torn between, you know what, now that I think about the game, 4 is a bit harsh. I give a 5 in it, but on another day, you see what I'm saying, people? So I give him a 5. Holding, I give a 5. Do you know what? I give him a 5. I'll give him a 6, but I felt uncharacteristically today, he actually let himself down on the ball. I felt headers out, clearing headers and getting touches on the ball and sniffing out danger and just being a defender. Holding had that today, he did his job. But a bit nervy on the passing, inviting a bit of pressure like everybody in our back four, even though they weren't tested. Unneeded pressure and creating our own problems per se. So I feel Holding had a good game and he gets a 5. I feel he deserves to keep his place for Palace, but he's been in the side for a while now. His legs might need a rest or something like that. I don't know. The next couple of days in training will decide that. So Holding gets a 5 like his centre-half teammate. I'll give Xhaka a 6. Now, again, he made some sloppy passes, but I cut him some slack. You weren't tested too much today, and when you was outside of possession, you dealt with it. You tried to get forward. Yeah, man, I'll give him a 6. He's playing left-back. He did all right today, man. I don't advocate that long-term, because you did see some things. I did think I would see him out of position. If anything, I saw him over-covering too much, so I'll give him a 6. I cut him some slack on that game. So a 6 for him. El Nene, I'm not to be harsh. Another one like Socrates, whose name's circled for me, people, personally. But I'll give him a 5 purely because I felt he did all right today. He got beyond the last man and made a run. And he all energetic performance today and drawing a couple fouls and stuff. But that's kind of not what I want to see from El Nene. A couple of times I see him the furthest man forward. I've never thought you're this defensive mid, but you're meant to be one of the more mature sort of players there to sit. And that's probably why you got subbed. So I don't feel he was appalling today, but he gets a 5. Guendouzi, I'll give a 6, probably being a bit biased towards Gwen, and it could be a Matteo and it could be a 5, but I felt from start to finish he was at least one of them that maintained a certain standard. That's not to say he didn't give the ball away needlessly and things like that, but I'll give him a 6. Ramsey's another one whose name circled people. I'll give him a 5 because it'd be unfair based on the logic of giving the other lot, but I did feel he was incredibly underwhelming, like Mkhitaryan to a degree, anonymous. So you get a 5, on another day it could be a 4 as well. Mkhitaryan gets a 5, just about. To be fair, improved second half, very improved second half, very anonymous in the first. Ironically, you had the only chance in the first half that I believe was a decent effort in that kind of free kick from a weird area, but yeah, man, he's a bit anonymous, and I like Mkhitaryan and what he can bring to the table, but the same questions that are asked of Mesut Ozil kind of need to be asked of Mkhitaryan because he's on big wages. Not to I don't care about the wages, but just these are the narratives people say. He's on big wages. He's of prime age. We brought him here to link up with Aubameyang and that, and you see it in patches. He can play our football, but you don't know what you're getting with Mkhitaryan, really and truly. And when you do, it is a bit, I can't lie, it does feel a bit underwhelming, people. But I like him. So he gets a 5, man, just about. Wells, I give a 6. Better second half. Way better second half. Do you know what? I'll give him a 7, man. I'll be a bit generous because he had a better second half and he scored. So I'll give him a 7, man. And he should have really had 2. I'll cut Wells some slack. I'll give Aubameyang a 6. Good runs, drawing fouls as well. Winning us some corners. He was involved in the goal, so he gets a 6. Lichtsteiner, he gets a 5. He better performance on his natural right-hand side today. I don't really feel Torreira and them, man, were on the pitch long enough. Torreira, Iwobi and Lacazette to really rate their performance. But if I had to give someone, it'd be Torreira. I'd give him a 7. He was involved in the goal. We looked at, even though he came on late, we looked a tiny bit better when he was on. Players kind of got the handbrake released and allowed them to go forward. He just did what he needed to do. So, yeah, if anything, I'll give him a 7. But I don't feel he's necessarily on the pitch long enough to really give him a rating. But yeah, man, it was good to deal with the business. I don't feel it was appalling, but it did feel like there was a massive air of complacency today. And on another hand, again, we're dealing with business and winning our games, and that's all you can do. But on the same logic, the wins are papering, not to be negative, I'm not trying to be, but they're papering through cracks. The way we're starting off games can be a bit better, especially in big games. Because in a couple of weeks' time or next week, we've got Liverpool. We can't start in the first half how we did against the, Sporting today against Liverpool, because some of them opportunities we was gifting, even though Salah and that are not necessarily in their toppest form from last year, they will eat. We'll just give them 3 goals. But we dealt with the business, man. And by the same token, that's what you can do, just win these games. It's 3 games in the week, tough on the legs. Can't expect a top performance all the time. Just the business end of it. And last year, I don't feel we win these sort of games, or historically. But whatever, innit? 3 wins, 9 points, 11 wins on the bounce now. We've done our thing. Guys, deluded. Like I said, Arsenal 1, Sporting 0. Player ratings.